Yeah, I know.
Sometimes feeling so low when you gotta maintain. 9 out of 10 of them want the same thing, girl. I know. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, you're not alone. Baby, those days are gone. I promise you it'll get better, better. Corazón a corazón. Don't worry, you're not alone. Baby, those days are gone. I promise you it'll get better, better. Corazón a corazón. He acts like your man, but he got gold to hide.
What?
Ain't makes you hide, but the truth don't lie, girl. I know. Yeah, I know. Do it for me, do it with yourself. Do it for you, not for nobody else. Girl, I know. I know. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, you're not alone. Baby, those days are gone. I promise you it'll get better, better. Corazón a corazón. Don't worry, you're not alone. Baby, those days are gone. I promise you it'll get better, better. Corazón a corazón. Yeah. If you're thinking about feeling now, I can make it better. Don't worry about falling down, we'll get through this together. Corazón, corazón, no, no, you're not alone. Corazón, corazón, you know the days are gone. When you're thinking about giving up, don't you